Hey, Jason, what's going on, man? How you doing? Heard you had a birthday the other day. I think I saw that. Here we go. Good afternoon, or evening or morning, depending on where you may all be seeing, watching this from. Great to see Jason today. What we're doing a little pre-stream before the coaching live class that we're having today. Today we are finishing up the course on chord tone soloing. So this is our 6th week on that. Very excited to do that today. I've got I'm turning this into a course, a paid course, and there is a I don't have the link ready for anybody, but there's a link to pre-order that. Dean's here. Hey, Dean. How you doing today? Great to see you. Stephen Finn's here. Hey, what's up, man? How you doing? Great to see you. Jason said yesterday. Yeah. I know, man. At 21st birthday, it's very special. Happy 21st, Jason. So we're talking about bringing together all the things we've learned with chord tone soloing today. That's what we're getting into. What did we learn? We started talking about, first started with arpeggios, and then we started with connecting chord tones. We went through a few weeks of that, connecting chord tones. So what does that mean? So whenever you're playing a solo and you're playing and you think you're doing great, and then you hit this one note and you're like, that wasn't what I wanted to do. That's not a chord tone. Right? Usually the chord tones are the strong notes. When you hit a note that's strong, you bend up into a note that sounds really great. It matches perfectly with the chord that's being played behind you. And so what we do a lot of times, we search for those. You're playing. And you have to search around until you find the one the really good note. What we're trying to do is keep that from having to happen, to know which notes are the good ones and which ones are not. And the problem with that is that it's not by the key. You can't be in the key of A and just know that A is going to work for every chord that's being played in the key of A. It doesn't work that way. As soon as you have a chord that A is not one of the 3 or 4 notes, depending on the whether it's a triad or a 7th chord. Let's see, in the key of A. Let's see here. A. Let's see. A 2 chord right there doesn't have an A in it, right? So if there's a 2 chord playing and then you go and hit that A, it's going to sound weak, even though you're in the key of A. So what that brings you to is learning how to know the notes and the chords that are playing at the time and connect those together. So it's a great way of building melodies. How do you get from, okay, here's the note that works really good in this chord, and here's the one that's working good here. How do we get there? And what's cool about it is you could use the scale, and you can go very nicely from one chord tone to the next chord tone. And that works. But you can do all sorts of other things too. You can play outside tones. You can do sequences. You can do all sorts of different things. So we did some sequences last week, I think it was, maybe 2 weeks ago. I'm not sure, but we are finishing it up today. So we're going to be talking about how to put this into practice. The idea of chord tone soloing is great. It's okay. Sure, I get it. These are the notes that are being played in the chord. These are the ones that are going to match. But when we go to play guitar, most of us are playing scales, right? We're playing licks using scales. And what ends up happening is we know all this knowledge about, okay, well, I understand I've got to work towards a note in this chord that's going to be, the good note. But, when you're playing scales and you're just going up and down scales, it's hard to put those two things together. So that's what today we're going to be putting things together with that. And I'm looking forward to it. This is going to be fun. This was a fun one too. I think the next every 6 weeks we're having a new topic, and so for the next one for coaching, we're going to be doing the 4-note chords stuff. I've got a little. I've taught that a few times in coaching before, but this is going to make it solid. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Let's see here. Steve says taking a break from arpeggio practice. So over to you, Lee. Okay, man. Great. Good news. Good news. David's here. What's up? What's up, David? What's happening? And then Steve says, I just spent 2 hours playing through the arpeggios in the caged positions. Yeah, they're the caged. Everybody, I think the whole cage thing. We've been through that a bunch. I think the shapes that are in the caged positions are perfect. I think for early on in guitar, the cage system works very nicely. It's just later on down the road when you get to be intermediate and advanced where it kind of falls apart. But those positions are wonderful to go through. We did a whole, gosh, what did we do? Something like, I've got so many things going on. It's hard to remember them all. But we did a whole thing on using those patterns last week. Evan's here. Great to see you, man. We tried out a new system yesterday, and that was our new coaching. Our new community there. They've got some live rooms in there. I usually use StreamYard for that, but we're going to try it again today. I don't think it recorded yesterday. So what we may do is just get everybody together that's going to be there in the private room we have. Then we can move over to a room that we can record from today. So I'm planning on that today. Steven says it's just one way to navigate there's the caged thing. The whole thing is using the same shapes, the same patterns, the same everything, that all the different, the 5 pattern system that people have been using for years. It's the same stuff. It's the way, it's the thing. I think it's great for beginners, and I think it's great for, as you're going, but at some point you have to realize there's just so much more that you can do with these things. And then when it starts getting into minor, the way they classify things really falls apart. But yes, those shapes, use them every day. Great. Just one way to navigate through them. That's correct. Great one. Okay. So let's see here. We got Dean and Jason and Steven and Evan in the chat. If anyone else is out there, I know we're streaming to a lot of different places. Just feel free to say hi in the chat. Today I sent an email out. I'm kind of doing morning emails, sending them out to the list for some reason. It was just fun to do. I got the spark cranked up today. Dusted it off. Not all the way. I can still see some dust on it there. And I hadn't played it in a long time. I turned it on, and then it actually sounded pretty good. Still had that, I'm not using the mini spark. I'm using the other one, and it still had that kind of like pillowy bass to it, low end to it. Hey, what about those of you who have the mini spark? That I wouldn't think it would have like that terrible low end on it. That the main one has. I've been using, but I fixed it in a second. I used the EQ pedal to take some of the lows out there, and it made it really good. But I was having fun with that today. I'm not using that now. I'm still using the Boss. The IR 200 is my favorite because I've got certain IRs that I like to use that can't use them with the Spark. That's the only thing. David said, let's see here. Oh, we got a bunch here. Jason says, the bass is intense. It is. It definitely is. And it shakes my table. Yeah. David says, I have both Sparks. Yeah, that's cool. You got one for the practice area and one you can just take anywhere. That's cool. I saw a picture of Jason's. Jason was the first to respond to that email. Got a few other after that, but I saw it on his table where he has his workstation. That's cool. Steven says my Spark got better when they added the EQ pedal. Yeah, me too. Whatever that upgrade was, there was a lot of good stuff. There was a drive pedal that they put in there that I use a lot. I don't forget the name of it. I remember that. I was like, okay, so that EQ pedal. And then one of the compressors I really like, I think it's the Opto. I think that's the one. I've been using that a lot too. That is on the Mini. Okay, right. Shakespeare. The bass is intense on the Mini. Okay, that one. Okay, all right. So, well, I'm gonna go ahead and close the pre-stream out. I'm gonna head on over and start getting the coaching class together, getting all the stuff out, and I look forward to seeing everybody over there, all the coaching students and everybody else. I'm going to be back. I'll probably pop in before then, but probably be back Wednesday for the next one. Then I have another week off after that. But I think next week we're going to have a full week. I'll be here Wednesday and Thursday, if not some other times too. Okay, everybody, have a great day. I'll see the coaching students in just a second.